Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. My colleague judges of the Supreme Court of Pakistan, Honorable Chief Justices of the High Courts, the Federal Shariat Court, I should put it in the other order. The Honorable Chief Justices of the Federal Shariat Court, the High Courts, the Supreme Court of Azad Jammu and Kashmir, and the Supreme Appellate Court of Gilgit-Baltistan, Honorable Judges of the High Courts, Honorable Judicial Officers of the District Judiciary, Learned Additional Attorney General, Members of the Bar, Excellencies, the Ambassadors and the High Commissioners of Friendly States, representatives of the UN agencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum. I have named some of our guests who may not be present today, but they were present with us yesterday and for a considerable part of the day earlier today. This mention is in acknowledgement of the time that they spared for this event and for joining the proceedings, in which I think most humbly that we have learned a lot and we have also probably accomplished a lot. Yesterday I welcomed all of you to this conference with the hope that it will inshallah provide the justice sector with a framework for enhancing the common person's accessibility to justice. And alhamdulillah, I am delighted to acknowledge that we conclude today on a good note. The fruitful discourse of the last 2 days have not only identified the key challenges facing the justice sector, but have also highlighted innovative solutions to address these issues going forward. The 5 themes focused on in the conference correspond with areas that the court is actively working on. Their recommendations are gathered in the order from most to less simple. But before I start talking about those points, I must acknowledge the participation of international experts in this conference, whose contribution has been invaluable, and who have also, during the proceedings of this conference, conveyed the greetings to myself as the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, on behalf of the Chief Justice of the Singapore Supreme Court and the Chief Justice of the Zambia Supreme Court. I reciprocate those greetings with Assalamu alaikum, with a message of peace and salamti. And I also acknowledge the participation of the 8 international experts, 6 of whom joined us through the Zoom, and 2 of them attended the proceedings in person. Delighted to have their company and their views, and we will definitely benefit from them. And my greetings once again to the Honorable Chief Justices of Singapore and Zambia. Now, the 5 themes that we focused on came up with several recommendations. I would not call them recommendations, came up with several ideas, and I am only going to summarize those ideas before you. Correct me if I'm wrong, because part of these proceedings I've been watching on the computer. First of all, ADR will play a crucial role in ensuring speedy and economic dispensation of justice to the people. I think we all resolved that this is a very important means of achieving the object for which we are assembled today. However, ADR is not institutionalized So there is need for laws that limit court intervention, especially in the domestic context, and for a proactive approach to develop ADR facilities. Courts and advocates should encourage litigants to make use of ADR instead of opting for litigation, which may take anywhere between 5 to 15 years for a final determination. 3. Superior Court should adopt a pro-enforcement approach in relation to foreign arbitral awards to boost foreign investment in the country. The recent decision of this court in Orient Power Company versus Sui Northern Gas Pipelines Limited in the year 2021 is a positive step in the right direction. In the realm of digitalization, the court now extensively decides matters via video link. This is our humble step towards technology, but we have discovered in the session today that the world has moved far ahead and we need to catch up. So we will be trying our best to avail of the benefits of the developments made in other jurisdictions, particularly as we understand in Singapore with respect to technology and IT, information technology. We have decided 3,391 matters in the Supreme Court in the last 7 months through video link. This has helped to reduce the costs incurred by the litigants, particularly those having cases from Balochistan, because of the traveling cost of advocates or their own personal traveling, and moreover, the availability of video link, ladies and gentlemen, has facilitated the progress of the proceedings because people are able to attend the proceedings with greater ease from Quetta rather than having to travel to Islamabad. So they've led to the speedier disposal of cases. I may mention that something that was not discussed in the conference, it's a disclosure, I just thought I'll share it with you. The National Judicial Policy Making Committee has approved the setting up of a National Judicial Automation Unit, which will help develop a national online dashboard for creating an integrated information system for the judiciary for all courts in the country. That way, we will have information of what is going on in each and every court in the country, and the centralized information will be available to all the decision makers for analysis and for solutions. The first phase of this project will be up and running by 31st of December this year, inshallah, and will centralize the data record of cases pending in all courts on one website. The second phase will focus on data sharing with other stakeholders in the justice sector. In improving the quality of justice dispensed by the courts, it was realized during our proceedings in the conference that all stakeholders need to come together. Firstly, police and prosecution need better training to increase the conviction rate. Increase is not the right word, to improve the outcome of criminal proceedings and to the quality of administration of criminal justice and to reduce crime in society. Next, district judges should partake in training sessions to learn about amendments in and development of the law, whereas performance audits should be made mandatory in all courts to assess gaps in legal knowledge so that steps can be taken to remedy them. Bar councils and associations should take charge in enhancing legal knowledge of the advocates. It may be stated that the Federal Judicial Academy is launching an email campus by the end of this year to conduct training workshops and certification courses online for all stakeholders in the justice sector. I think this service would certainly facilitate the learning process and the capacity building both in the bar as well as in the judiciary. The increasing population, the worsening climate change, and pervasive gender inequality are hindering effective administration of justice. I think this is something we noticed during the deliberations, and there was a very strong panel discussion on these matters, and also the panel chair was also, I think it was Justice Faizisa who also educated us from a religious, Quranic point of view. It was very enlightening how we should progress and how, rather than learning new things, we should relearn what we have in our heritage. So these are important milestones to be achieved, objectives to be set, and I think that's the realization all of us shared in the proceedings of that were held today. Court is committed to protecting the marginalized groups directly affected. However, we expect the legislature and executive must also do their bit to create the legal framework and to implement the decisions of the court. Ladies and gentlemen, I shall now take a moment of your time. To conclude, I would like to stress that what is common to the challenges faced by the justice sector or that have been so extensively discussed in this conference is that only through their collective resolution can Pakistan become a nation in which the rule of law, democracy, and the respect for the Constitution will thrive. In my mind, therefore, the vision for a prosperous and progressive Pakistan is based on the rule of law reigning supreme, but this can be achieved if, number one, the courts are made equally accessible to the people of Pakistan, irrespective of their gender, religion, race, or economic status. Second, the legislature and the judiciary should develop ADR facilities and procedures and encourage their use amongst litigants to ensure inexpensive and expeditious dispensation of justice. Three, the judiciary should make extensive use of the advancement in technology to streamline litigation. Four, the stakeholders in the criminal justice system, namely the police and the prosecution, should improve their performance and coordination with each other to secure a society with lesser crime and more order. Five, other stakeholders in the justice sector, namely the judiciary and the bar, must make efforts to enhance their capacity, legal knowledge, and performance, in particular with the familiarity, by improving their familiarity with the IT and technological solutions that have now been introduced for our use in other jurisdictions. women who form 50% of our population should be included in decision making, whether that be in the executive, the legislature, or the judiciary. They need a bigger role in all these sectors, apart from, I would submit, the bar itself, which is, insofar as the judiciary is concerned, it is the bar which is the cradle from which all plants and all flowers bloom. So we need a greater participation of women in the bar and encouragement by the courts and the judiciary in allowing such entrants to avail of the benefits of the profession. Gender-based violence, along with other formal and informal biases that women face, should be effectively eradicated. The problems of population growth and climate crisis that are ravaging Pakistan should be addressed on priority basis by the institutions of the state, the civil society, and the people. Ladies and gentlemen, yesterday when I had the opportunity of expressing my views before you, I had started with the verses of the Quran that dealt with balance. Justice is the product of the creation of a balance. The whole system, the nizam, the entire system of the worlds, and the heavens and the earth is based on a balance. This is what the Almighty said in the ayat that I read to you yesterday from Surah Rahman. What I realized during the discussions that we had yesterday and today is that all the suggestions that came forth were also talking about balance. Balancing the rights of the accused, balancing the obligations of the judiciary towards the parties before them in relation to the other institutions of the state, balancing the means by which we can adopt technology to improve the dispensation of justice that we do. And I felt happy that, in fact, the original concept of justice, which is based on the balance, is reflected from all the discussions that we had yesterday and today. We are not talking about economic interests. We are not talking about personal advantages. We are not talking about anything political. It was beautiful that we were all talking about how to create a system in which we can serve the people of Pakistan better in accordance with the provisions of the Constitution and the law. The court is committed to play its part in helping to build Pakistan which is equal for all. However, the vision outlined above can only be accomplished, and I say so with respect, if all the institutions and the people have regard for the Constitution and the law. The proposals of the esteemed panelists on the way forward for the justice sector have instilled in me a renewed faith that with the right people and the right energy, Pakistan can soon become a nation endowed with prosperity and progress, inshallah. In this endeavor, I and my fellow judges pledge to fully support this noble cause and do our bit as mandated by the Constitution. I'm grateful that you all joined us in these proceedings, made this event, in my humble estimation, I think a roaring success. I want to tell you that I am committed to having another conference on the points that we have discussed today, and I would expect that inshallah you would all join us, because there will be high priority points that we've discussed, and we will follow it up in a few months with that. I thank my learned brothers from the Supreme Court who have spared time, for the learned judges from the high courts and the other courts for coming, joining us from faraway places at this function and event. I wish you all the best, safe journey home,